Greetings and skeletations, my new cool friends. I'm Niomi Dylan Sass, resident podcaster here at UIC Radio, and I'm taking you along with me to visit something great today. This is where hauntings feel like hellos. Welcome to the brand new podcast for everything in the horror genre, from movies to mythologies and mysteries. This is She's in the Crypt. Along with us on this week's frightful journey is a serendipitous siren with a voice that can lure any lucky traveler. A ghoul who can't get enough of the paranormal, Maggie Hinton. We are going to be breaking down the Conjuring Universe in this week's Halloween special. There will be a trigger warning at the beginning of each of my episodes, just in case today's dark discussion isn't your preferred potion. We will be heavily discussing religious parallels within horror cinema, gun violence, animals and children dying, demons, and suicide. Cool. I get it if you can't listen to that right now. Just leave a like on your way out and be sure to tune in next week for a different dark discussion. After this quick break, I'll be back with Maggie Hinton, and we're going to do some grave digging into what the legendary paranormal investigators are, the Warrens, and how their lives have been portrayed in the Conjuring Universe. We'll be analyzing The Conjuring 2, The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, and giving a little insight on the newest film that just came out, The Conjuring Last Rites. I'll be back after this quick message from Beyond. Ooh. We have reached that time where I just take my giant crystal ball out of my bag here and get into my first segment. This is She's Summoning. Everyone, please welcome Maggie Hinton. How is Purgatory?
Oh, it's we're all living in it, right?
Definitely. What do you do for a living right now, Maggie? And what do you do for fun?
Well, right now I'm working as a swim instructor and supervisor.
At a nondiscreet swimming location.
Yes, not mentioning. And that's lots of fun for, a job that pays hourly. But my passion is singing and performing. I'm a classically trained, operatic singer.
Yes, the vocals.
Yes. Right now, I'm super obsessed with everything Wicked and Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo.
I'm so excited for Wicked too. Are you gonna go see the double feature?
I am.
For the 5 hour.
I have secured the tickets already. Yes, I'm locked in and ready.
I know. When I first went and saw the first movie, I never saw Wicked the musical. I never read it or anything. So when I saw the first movie, I was like, wow, this is really cool. And then I got into it, and then I watched it again, and I was like, ooh, that first scene where she dies, that kind of hits too hard. So now that I'm really into it, going to see the second one, I'm going to be a wreck.
You're going to be destroyed. It's going to be a mess.
I saw this meme on Instagram where it was saying that a movie theater employee escorting me out of the movie theater after the double premiere, and it was all Jessica Lange from American Horror. Yeah, American Horror Story, where she's all getting out of the asylum at the end, just all
that's gonna be me.
No, literally. All right, cool. So do you have any Halloween plans?
I do. One of my best friends is having a vampire themed Halloween party.
Ooh.
So it's a costume party, of course. And I will be repping Rosalie Hill, exacting her revenge.
Okay.
From the Twilight movie Eclipse.
Who doesn't love Twilight? Twilight. Oh, wow, wow, wow.
Right? It's a possibility. Yeah, so I'm really excited for that. I just learned that one of my friends is going to be dressed as Nosferatu.
Lit.
So yeah, it's gonna be a whole time.
Is it going to be a sexy Nosferatu or like full camp Nosferatu?
I'm hoping full camp, but I don't know. This person, like, they could do either way.
Right.
Like,
Okay. And they'd probably eat it up. Yeah.
Right. They're gonna eat either way. Exactly.
Awesome. So,
Yeah.
what is your favorite thing about Halloween?
I've always loved like creating costumes and stuff.
Nice.
And I haven't done that so much in my adult, like my early 20s, right?
I mean,
Like,
we make costumes like when we get dressed every day, right?
Right, that's true. Every day, you're all born naked and the rest is drag, right? So,
I think my favorite thing about Halloween, I feel like when I'm walking around my dog at night and there's all the Halloween decorations, like I just feel at home. Like I don't have to go to a cemetery to go get the vibes that I'm looking for. I could just walk up and down the street.
Spooky vibes. Yeah, for sure.
Perfect. So what draws you to the genre of horror?
To be quite honest, I didn't start getting into horror until like college.
Right.
My mom was like, we weren't allowed to watch Harry Potter growing up.
That's crazy. I know people who weren't allowed to watch SpongeBob growing up, and I was like, that's wild.
Yeah, I was one of those.
Oh my god.
I did enjoy it on my own time when my mom wasn't home, of course. But I don't like body horror, so I was like kind of like turned off, I think, from it. But
from like gore and stuff.
Yeah. But when I learned about like the Warrens and all of like the Conjuring storylines and that is like real, I was like that shit is interesting.
Right, it really is, because there's so much to unpack with the Conjuring Universe, which is, by the way, what we're going to be breaking down today. So, since we are already talking about it, why don't we already just jump into our next segment, yeah?
Why not?
All right, everybody, this is Dark Discussion. Shh. Okay, so I think it's only correct if we start from the very beginning. The Conjuring, filmed in 2013, directed by James Wan, and written by Chad Hayes and Carrie W. Hayes. I'm assuming either they're related or I'm assuming they're married. I probably should have looked that up. But the more we get down the line in the movies, you see kind of like the writers like start to shift one by one and the directors start to shift one by one, and I just wonder if there was like juicy drama behind it. That's my fantasy. I feel like they either got a divorce somewhere down the line. I'm speculating here. This is just to make stuff better. However, so this was directed by and written by them. This is the introduction to the paranormal investigators that we know today as Ed and Lorraine Warren. Lorraine was an exceptionally gifted clairvoyant, while Ed was the non-ordained demonologist recognized by the Catholic Church. So this movie follows the Perrin family, Caroline and Roger Perrin, with their 5 daughters. I'm bad at names, and I did not want to write down their names, so we're just going to call them daughter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they move into a new house that is big enough to fit all of them in, and it quickly starts to go south with some spooky shit. The mom goes to a seminar of the Warrens and asks for their help after. Immediately, Lorraine knew that the parents needed their help once they got there. Cut to the evil force that is causing this haunting is from a woman who lived at the house that they moved into. This house was built by her husband in 1863. She sacrificed her 7-day-old baby, climbed up a tree outside, pronounced her love to Satan, and cursed the land before hanging herself. And she's the one who is haunting the Perrin family. All right, Maggie, so of course you've seen this movie. Do you remember your first impression, like, after watching this?
I remember feeling there's something that's just like chilling about it. Like, obviously it's a, horror movie. But that there was this like deep sadness within this woman that I think ultimately was like haunting her and that caused her to
like be susceptible to be able to like be haunted in a way.
Yeah.
So like in the first movie, Ed and Lorraine, they do these seminars all the time talking about like their investigations, the cases that they gone on, and in these seminars, this is where we see them kind of like build this formula that all of the movies are kind of built upon. So when we come to movies that talk about like possession, demonic activity, ghosties. They have like kind of a simple formula. So they discuss it inside of one of their seminars. In the seminars, they write on the little whiteboard and stuff that this is 3 steps to demonic activity. We have infestation, oppression, and possession. Now, just to give you guys a little back story on this. Infestation is kind of like when you hear little whisperings, feeling of a presence, you feel like someone's watching you, but you're like, no, am I crazy? Oppression is the most psychologically vulnerable get picked out by these like demonic entities and these spirits, and they get targeted and they start to try to make them weak. Now, once we get to possession, the 3rd stage, this person is now weak enough for the demon to take control of their body. So I think that's kind of like what Maggie was getting at here, was like this mom is kind of going through it a little bit, and she ends up being the one who gets possessed, and like fucking hats off to this bitch's acting. That shit was literally I remember my first time watching that scene. I'm really like, paranormal stuff doesn't really like spook me. It's a lot of like jump scares and loud noises, but like her acting for that scene, like I was literally like anxiety filled. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Like felt it, right?
There are a family this is a true story, right? Yeah, so this is a true story. This is the 5 daughters. They are experiencing something that is caused by what is a conduit. And a conduit is like basically a noun. It's a person, place, or thing. And it can act as a connection between the living and the paranormal. So in this film,
this one, it's the spinning.
It's the music box. This one is the music box in this film. So yeah, this one, that's where like the conduit resides in for this family, is in the side of this music box, right? I think that like really, the first movie is really important. I feel like for the Conjuring Universe, there's a lot of movies that go into the Conjuring Universe, but we're only going to discuss like the ones that actually have the Conjuring in the title today.
Yes.
But so a lot of things go into the Conjuring Universe. In the first movie, they set this up for everything. So like one of the things that stood out is like when a demon or a ghost starts making those loud knocking noises and banging sounds and shit, they do it in 3s.
Right.
And the reason why they do it in 3s is to mock the Holy Trinity.
Yeah, the Father, Son, the Holy Spirit.
Exactly, yeah. So I really found that interesting, that there's always this religious parallel between these like paranormal movies, like it's funny but jarring. All of the things that like religious people are scared of in real life are like the things that happen in like their lore, not our lore. So I feel like it's a lot of projecting. But what is really cool about the Conjuring Universe is there's always this like underlining story of Annabelle in there, right? You know the Annabelle doll.
Yeah.
The Annabelle doll. My favorite scene of the Annabelle doll isn't even in any of the Conjuring universes. It's in the movie A Haunted House.
Oh,
did you watch that one?
No, I haven't seen
No,
that
it's
one.
with Marlon Wayans. It's like the spoof version of it.
Oh my God. What?
Yeah, so it's like it's the the people who wrote Scary Movie.
Yeah, of course.
So there's literally a scene they're making fun of. That's one of the movies they're making fun of. But there's a scene where he's just straight like being very sexual with the doll.
Oh my God.
And like he is butt naked, like giving the doll like the 1-2, and it's crazy. Because they have. In the real Conjuring now, we're back to the real Conjuring, Annabelle always has this, like, miss me thing written around everywhere. That's kind of like her tagline, like, knowing that she's there is like, oh, miss me, that's the demon who's possessing Annabelle. Anytime you see that, that's kind of like that spirit is messing around. But in the Haunted House movie, they did the miss me thingy, but it was because Annabelle was, like, a crazy, like, ex because she got it that one time. So I just thought that was just super funny with that. So yeah, there's also like another formula when it comes to these Conjuring movies. It's kind of the same thing, but different circumstances each time. It is a family gets haunted, whether it be a person or like the house they live in or an item they come across. And like I said, this is what we call like the conduit. Someone or something gets used for it to like, I guess, possess. Not possess, to host this evil entity. Right. They don't, especially if it's a person they don't plan on like hosting it, but they use this to kind of like host it, and then whoever is the one that has like this demon activity, they're the one that has to get exorcised. That's the plot to all of these movies, you guys. If you've never seen them, I just told you them right now. But this is The Conjuring sets up, the very first one sets up this whole concept that is used throughout the whole entire franchise. And the demon inside of The Conjuring one is the witch Bathsheba Sherman. Yeah, that's how you say it. Bathsheba Sherman. She's the one that killed the baby.
Right.
Yeah, she's the one that's possessing Caroline, the mother of the parents. She's the one that's possessing her. And now, so the mom's the one that needs to get the exorcism in this movie. So this is based on a true story. The Perrin family was moving to a farmhouse in Rhode Island in 1971, and all of this quickly started happening. And then the Warrens, this was like one of their, not first cases, but this was like one of their first major cases, where they had like a lot of, I guess, fact, because, you know, they always have to record this stuff so then they can get the exercises approved by the church. So this was the one where they had like a lot of proof. There we go. That's the word, proof. They had a lot of proof of this shit, which is really crazy. So do you believe in ghosts?
I kind of like, why not?
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Like there's all kinds of stuff that we can't see. And like if we're, you know, our souls or our spirits are not here on this plane, you know, forever. Like we're not in these bodies forever, but like where do our spirits go?
Exactly.
You know? So I think, yeah, definitely.
Especially too, like, because like when you're dead, your brain still lives on for like, what, 7 minutes or some shit afterwards? So it's like, I feel like that is where the term like purgatory comes in.
Yeah.
And that's where you kind of just like live there. And then there's a lot of theories where it's like, I believe in ghosts. I'm such a conspiracy theorist. Like, only about like stuff that wouldn't make sense. Like, I'm not a flat earther, you know, that's not the kind of conspiracy theories I go for. But like there is one where it's like anytime someone has like a near-death experience, there is a theory where you basically just jump into another timeline, because dying is such a traumatic experience for the brain to process that it doesn't process it correctly. And instead of dying, it shifts itself into an alternate reality where you are still living, but you had that near-death experience and you had that like life flash before your thingy, because you've possibly died in another life at that time.
Crazy.
So like I feel like time is like parallel, you know, like yesterday is today, tomorrow's today, yesterday is now, you know.
There's no one singular timeline.
Right, exactly. And then even like in the show The Haunting of Hill House on Netflix, have you ever seen that one?
Oh my god, yeah. I haven't. I watched Bly Manor.
Oh yeah, the British one.
Yeah.
No worries. So the Haunting of Hill House, the whole spoiler if you haven't seen it, but the whole like ghost plot line, the ghost that was haunting the girl the whole entire time there was like this bitch with like a crooked neck. And excuse me, not a bitch. There was this ghost with like a crooked neck. You know, I say bitch in an endearing way, like how you'd call your mom a bitch, right? So this bitch with a crooked neck, she is haunting her this whole entire time. And then so when the girl finally dies at the end, her whole life flashes before her eyes, and it is in the eyes of the ghost. So she was basically she hung herself in the haunted house at the end. So she died with a crooked neck. And so that whole entire time it goes back to like cutting to each haunting, like each time she saw this ghost, that was when she died. That was her seeing her life going back before her eyes. So like I believe in kind of shit like that, right?
Yeah.
Like mind fucking.
Yeah, like that could exist.
Right. You know? Have you ever experienced like sleep paralysis before at all?
I don't think so. I've had like fucking PTSD nightmares in my
go.
sleep. But I do kind of like, that's the thing that I liked about the Conjuring movies, is that there is this like grounding in reality of like it's like another way of understanding like a psychological trauma or something, you know. So I probably could say, yeah, I've definitely had sleep paralysis.
Yeah, I feel like any kind of like nightmare, kind of like goes into that form of sleep paralysis. For me, I feel like if it wasn't sleep paralysis, it was a ghost. But one time when I was younger, my dad had like fell off of a palm tree, so he had to like cut his leg off just to like save it and stuff. So he was
Yeah,
sleeping in the
wow.
living room. We had a very, very small apartment, so we were already all sleeping in the living room, but we moved the bed in the living room too, so he could sleep in there. So we were all sleeping in the living room one night, and then I'm on the floor, and then like, you know Hannah Montana, right?
Of course.
Yeah, so you know her cute little blonde wig, and she
Yeah.
always does that little shh with her finger in front of her mouth. I swear to God, I shit you not. So literally, like my eyes open, I can't move, and then all I see is this like shadow. Like to me, I knew it wasn't Hannah Montana, but that's what I see in my head now to try to like mask what the fuck it
whatever
was. But literally, it comes in front of like goes down in front of me and like does that little shh. And like I literally screamed, jump from where I was laying down to like my back door, which was like a good 15 feet. I did that in one jump, and I was like, I seen somebody, and woke everybody up, and everybody like was looking through the apartment and stuff. And they're like, there's no one here, and I was like, well,
No, there
shit.
definitely was.
Right. So I was like, either that was definitely some sort of like sleep paralysis, and I was a kid too. So kids are in the realm of this stuff. Kids are always more
Like,
susceptible.
more susceptible,
Exactly,
right?
because they are like we could take it back to the oppression. They are more psychologically vulnerable because they aren't like fully developed yet, you know, mentally.
Yeah. And I was like, watching these movies, I'm like, this is just more of a reason, like reaffirming my decision to not have kids.
Right. And especially 5 kids. Girl, you should
my
have stopped
God.
at the 3rd. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's
I'm
a
glad you have
lot.
them all, and they're all really cute. And I'm glad they're all fine now, but geez, yeah, 5. Next up on the dossier is The Conjuring 2. This one was filmed in 2016, directed by James Wan again, and written by Chad Hayes, Carrie W. Hayes, and they added James Wan into the mix. This time he was probably like, you know what? I have something to say. let me get a line or two
Let me
in.
get in. Yeah.
So this movie follows the Hodgson. They're British, so it's hard to pronounce their name. I'm so sorry. The Hodgson family in Enfield, London. This is the single mom, Penny, and her 2 boys and 2 girls who live with her. Also, it follows Ed and Lorraine Warren giving press about their findings at the famous Amityville house. If that name sounds familiar to you, it's because it is. Of course, if you're a horror fan, you know the iconic movie Amityville Horror. However, one of the daughters brings home a Ouija board that her friend and her made a portal for Bill Wilkins to enter through. It has its eyes set on one of the daughters, Janet, and is also doing anything to take possession of her, but only to find out Mr. Wilkins was being used by a powerful demon, Valak, also known as the Nun. We are looking at England's Amityville. So, have we watched this one? Did you see this one, Maggie?
Yeah. It has been a minute. Again.
So, like in this movie, I guess the thing for me in this movie is I don't really like pay too much attention to the stuff that happened in England, even though that's like the whole storyline and like what went down. But if I'm not mistaken, the stuff that was the true story in this movie was the Amityville one.
Right.
So what happened in Amityville was based on the DeFeo murders in 1974. Ronald DeFeo was found guilty of murder for shooting and killing his mom, dad, 2 brothers, and 2 sisters in the middle of the night. The Lutz family shortly moved into that house a few years later and claimed to experience hella hauntings there. They moved out as quickly as they moved in. Ed and Lorraine Warren had investigated this house in real life before. What happened to the Lutz was the inspiration for the 1974 horror hit. So that one was like, for that movie, the thing that stood out to me the most in that movie, the main character, the guy, that is like the most manliest man I've ever seen. He's the type where his eyebrows are so bushy, they just connect in the middle, but like not even in a unibrow way, just like in a manly way. You're just like, you got testosterone, bro. Have you ever seen that old one? It's okay, we're not talking about it, but have you ever seen it?
No, I haven't.
No,
I
there's
should.
a remake with Ryan Gosling that's just as good. I'm sorry, Ryan Reynolds. There we go, the other Ryan. It's Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds is the one that plays this man, and he does a really good job. The man is the one that gets like he starts to get possessed by the Ronald DeFeo. Ronald DeFeo is the one who's like haunting this
family.
Yeah, the one who
Yeah,
killed this family.
yeah.
He's the one that's haunting this house that they just moved into. So
Right.
he's kind of like haunting the dad, trying to get the dad to do the same thing. So we see that a lot in the Conjuring movies. We see that storyline of the demons or these evil, malevolent entities that have died before try to get the people who are living now to do the shit that they like died for. Like just in the last one, it was the baby.
Yeah.
You know, the lady killed her baby and announced herself to Satan. So then she tried to possess the mom and tried to make the mom kill her 2 daughters.
Yeah.
And then so we see that in this one. In this one, the story was Ronald DeFeo, I believe, was either the eldest son. He was one of the sons. He was one of the 5 kids out of that family. But he was the one that got possessed and went to go kill everybody in the family. So in The Conjuring 2, we have Janet. Janet's the kid that is getting possessed and tries to kill everybody in the family. So in The Conjuring 2, the ghost in there is this old guy, Mr. Bill. He is the type of guy to like yell at kids to get off his lawn, right? And he's still doing it in the afterlife.
Classic.
Literally, that's his tagline is "Get out of my house." I just like picture him with his fist up the whole time, like "Get off my lawn." But that's literally like his tagline
Chasing
is
you with his cane.
Yeah, right, like hitting you. But he's also being controlled by a demon, like the doll Annabelle is.
Yeah.
The Annabelle is being controlled by a demon. The conduit in this movie, the thing that opened like the portal, was that Ouija board.
Right.
Because you know, like even my mom, even when I was younger, she wouldn't let us like try to make our own Ouija boards because she'd be like, "Oh, don't fuck with that shit." And I was like, "Mine, it's not real." It's probably real. I still today I would do it. I still never done it. I would fucking do it. I want to do it so bad. I haven't drank in a while. I think taking a shot, you know, because alcohol is considered spirits. I'm gonna take a shot and pull out the Ouija board, see what happens. Maybe I could get a guest.
Guest podcaster.
Right. Some, like the big spirit in The Conjuring we see in The Conjuring 2, is the nun.
Yeah.
And that is also part of the Conjuring universe. There's like the Nun 2. I've actually never seen the Nun or the Nun 2. It's way too religious for me. Like the whole thing kind of takes place in like a cathedral. Not that I have anything against religion. It's just like I honestly like get sleepy. Like there's a lot of exposition that they could cut out that bitch.
Right.
And I just get super sleepy. I think that's why it's a little hard to remember some of the movies sometimes because it's like you only remember the jump scares and then you're like, well, it was scary. Why am I going to try to remember something that scared me?
Right. I think that was part of like what honestly attracted me to the Conjuring universe is that like I was raised in the church.
Oh, okay.
Like I was raised in the American Baptist church.
Oh, okay.
And then also in like a Catholic youth group when I was in high school. So just like a strange dichotomy, first of all. Like the most Protestant of the Protestants and then Catholic
I see
youth
why
group.
you weren't allowed to watch SpongeBob.
Yeah. My mom, I don't know if that was like, you're just going to be stupid because SpongeBob is stupid or
maybe
what it was.
For me, not me, but the people I knew, they were like, it showed his butt cheeks one time. And the moms were like, no.
Butt cheeks.
Nudity? What?
No, but my mom wouldn't let us like do anything like scary or demonic for Halloween. We had to like be creative, she told us, with our costumes. But on the same token, like wouldn't let us watch Harry Potter because it was like witchcraft is demonic and stuff.
Ooga safruga.
In the year of our Lord 2025, she'll say that like, no, I just wanted you to be creative. I just wanted you to use your brains. I did, whatever. And I'm like, you were very religious about it. You tried to be very religious about it for a minute.
Don't try to like bury the traumatizing. No, I'm just kidding.
Like, you tried really hard to indoctrinate your first 2 children. Okay,
it was the time. It's the
90s, the early 2000s.
Right? Who hasn't been indoctrinated then?
They all had the WWJD bracelets.
What would Jesus do, you guys? What would Jesus do?
Right.
Honestly, if y'all read the Bible, Jesus would have done some shit.
Yeah, he would be so pissed with how his supposed followers are acting these days.
No, seriously.
Let me just throw that out there.
Seriously, he said, all your firstborns, dead. All right, so back to The Conjuring. Valak, the demon, the nun. Yes, she's scary. She is probably, to me, out of like all of the demons we go through, she's just the scariest. For me, when it comes to a doll, the doll doesn't scare me. Like the demon itself scares me. Like the scary demon that's taking over Annabelle. That bitch actually looks crazy. But like if I saw like a doll, you know, I try to kick it or something. Same with Chucky. Like the way people are scared of Chucky. Like how do you get killed by Chucky?
Doll.
Y'all let me know how you got killed by Chucky right now. Comment in below because that is crazy. How do you not just pick his little ass up and like toss him? But yeah, so Valak is the one that is like not possessing because he's already dead. She's using the spirit of Bill to do like her bidding because that's kind of what the demons have to do. The demons can't like do anything themselves. They have to use this conduit. And in this case, it is a couple different things. It is Bill's spirit being used as a conduit, and then it's that carousel circle thingy.
The music box.
Yeah, there's another kind of music box in here too. It's like a little carousel thing, and in the carousel, it's not even a carousel, but it spins around like a carousel. Has like a little music, you know, that goes with it. And it is a picture of like this tall, slender dude called the Cricket Man, and the song is about like the Crooked Man, whoop de whoop de whoop. So they use Valak, the demon, uses the Cricket Man also to kind of scare them, and I think that's my favorite part in this movie. There is like a very Tim Burton scene where it literally, I need to Google it, but it looked like it didn't look like special effects, but it looked like some claymation big giant like Slender Man growing into that thingy, and I was like, that's tight. I hate CGI. I love like puppetry and special effects and all that.
Like practical effects.
Like CGI is cool and where we gotten now, but like when it comes to movies like Avatar, where it's like all CGI, I've never watched Avatar. I'm cool on it, you know. That you guys are just flexing on how much money you have at your studio to build all that stuff. But so the way that they kind of like close up The Conjuring 2 and they're able to banish this demon. The first one they used an exorcism. This one they're not really using an exorcism. This one, because they have to go through this whole process doing an exorcism, this and that. They're using the demon's name to cast control over it. So once they were able to figure out the demon's name, which is Valak, that's when Lorraine is able to like banish it right in the nick of time and like save everybody right at the end. What's really cool about the first two movies is like no one dies. People die in like the flashbacks, like on why the ghost like did what they did, but like nobody in the concurrent story that is going on dies, which is kind of cool because Ed and Lorraine, you know, did their job.
Right. Yeah. It like speaks to their work.
Right.
Like,
exactly.
We're legit.
And this is like, these are real people. These are literally like real, I don't think the English version of the story was real, but the Ed and Lorraine Warren really did go to the Amityville house after the Lutzes moved out because the Lutzes had this giant media outrage, which is why a lot of people were thinking like it was a hoax the entire time because they were just trying to get some, the family was struggling financially anyway, so they were just trying to think of some way to get some monetary compensation. Yeah, you know, who doesn't want some fucking money? I want some money.
And then Lorraine Warren go to Amityville.
Oh, yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, so yeah, they actually did go to, once the Lutzes actually moved out of that house, Ed and Lorraine did go and investigate that house, and they said they found some shit there. They said that was kind of like one of the craziest houses that they've experienced, and that's why they really recommended nobody goes and lives in that bitch after. Yeah, that was The Conjuring 2. The Conjuring 2 was a different movie than the first one. Both of them are just equally as good. I like when a parent gets possessed more than the kid. I just feel like the acting's more realistic. You know, you can't put all that pressure on a little 7-year-old to fucking like literally pretend to be Reagan. We were talking about Reagan in my last episode. Reagan from The Exorcism. That was a young girl who she put in the work.
Ate it up. She left no crumbs.
Literally. So the next one we will get into, the next installment of the franchise is The Conjuring. The Devil Made Me Do It. This one was filmed in 2021. I feel like that one's early enough to be like spoilers. If y'all haven't seen it, you're very, very late. Whatever. It was directed by Michael Chavez, so we have a different director this time, right?
Yeah.
Something happened. Either the other one maybe had a different job or a scheduling conflict, and then we see the writers this time is David Leslie Johnson McGoldrick, that's a long name, James Wan, and Chad Hayes. So James Wan still stuck on as a writer for this movie. He was the previous directors, and Chad Hayes stuck on as a writer. Where's the wife? Where's the other Hayes? Why wasn't she invited into the room? What had happened? Or the sister. I don't know if they're married or not. But yeah, where'd the other one go? So I found that interesting. But this film follows the possession of David Glitzel and Arnie Johnson. David was going through an exorcism while Arnie, David's sister's boyfriend, was in the room during it. Feeling sorry for what was going on to the kid, he came face to face with the demon and told the demon to take him instead. David got better, and Arnie hosted the demon long enough for it to make him commit a murder. Now, for the first time in the United States, the defense case of Arnie Johnson is relying on a plea of not guilty by demonic possession. Ed and Lorraine feel responsible to help prove that Arnie was possessed at the time of the murder because Ed saw the demon enter Arnie's body that night of David's exorcism, but he ended up having a heart attack.
Right.
So he was kind of like,
it's like out of commish.
Yeah, out of commish for a little bit. Yeah. So the Warrens have to prove the existence of demonic entities hundreds of times to the church. They have proven this before. Now they're going to have to prove it in the court of law. So that one's this
entirely
movie.
different.
Right.
Yeah.
This is a completely different ballpark. Right? So
higher stakes this time, some might say.
Yeah, right. So did you what was like your favorite thing about this movie?
I liked that it set the precedent for this, plead of not guilty by way of
demonic possession.
possession.
Yeah, because we see that trying to be used a lot in like murder cases after that, because murderers get very popular in the 80s.
Right. Yeah, that's so unfortunate.
No, seriously.
What was going on?
The public would say sex, drugs, and rock and roll. I would say that was the cure to what was going on. That was the distraction.
Exactly. But I thought it was really interesting. I was surprised that it like started off immediately where we're seeing an exorcism happen. I'm like, whoa, where's the exposition? But then when Arnie was like trying to get the demon out of the little kid, I was like, okay, I see where this is probably going.
Right.
And I thought that was like really noble of him. So it was like extra unfortunate that he had to like go through this possession and like deal with the consequences. It's like, oh, it would have been worse though, I guess, if it was like a small child, like...
Right. The acting would have been worse, she meant. No, I'm just kidding. No, I actually wrote that in my notes too. Out of even the newest movie that just came out, out of all 4 of those Conjuring movies, this one's like opening scene was like the best opening scene out of all of this. This opening scene literally was buck wild right from the jump, super crazy. I also really enjoyed that. So this exorcism of the 8-year-old David Glitzel was meant to end these months of torments, but for Arnie Johnson, it was just the beginning. So, I mean, literally just to harken back to the exorcism again, we learned from that movie, you do not tell a demon, take me, because they will.
They will not hesitate.
In 2 seconds. I think that is the one thing that like oversteps those 3 steps of demonic activity, where you have to be like whisperings, weekend, and all that jazz. If you tell a demon, hey, you can take me, girl, go ahead, then and they skip all of those steps. They're like, all right, say less. So yeah, in that movie, the dude, the priest said, take me, and he jumped out the window and like killed the spirit with him. So in this movie, Arnie says, take me. And yes, he does. So it takes a few days for the spirit to kind of like really get a good hold onto Arnie. And once the spirit finally does, or the entity finally does, he ends up killing. I'm gonna call him his friend because like they talk like they were friends, but like it was like his sister's like boss or something. Not his sister, his girlfriend's boss or something.
Yeah, they like worked at the dog kennel together.
Yeah, exactly. They worked at some dog kennel together. Yeah, so he ended up killing that guy. Arnie started seeing like a demon and like thought that some demon was after him, but it was the demon like messing with his vision. And Arnie was kind of like, you know, we see that Arnie was in his head protecting himself from the demon, which is why
his girl.
yeah, protecting his girl from the
too.
demon. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
He saw that like the coworker or whatever was like messing with her, was like, you know, coming onto her too hard and stuff,
dancing and shit.
With like their dancing and shit, which like I don't think it actually was the case. Like I think she was like going, you know, they were both dancing together enjoyably, but the demon made it
look
Arnie
different.
see this like altered reality, just like that was just crarazy. It was just crazy to me.
No, seriously. So then, yeah, out of self-defense in Arnie's mind, he kills the demon, and then as soon as like it like cuts to him walking down the street just covered in blood, and then a cop stops him, and then like you see the demon kind of like leave his body, and then he's like, I think
I hurt someone.
I think I hurt somebody.
Like, no shit, you're covered in blood. Your hands are covered in blood.
No, I think you just had your period, friend.
Right.
You're okay. It's okay. We got you. So David started to get better, and which is good for the kid. So we think that that was the last of the demon, because we see that Arnie gets arrested for the murder of this guy. Arnie goes to jail, and Ed finally wakes up from his heart attack, right? And he's like, he's the one that says that he saw the demon go into Arnie.
He tells.
So then once they go to the prison to try to like see if the demon's still there, they bring him like a crucifix, some holy water, and they make him read text from the Bible, and he's doing it just fine, like no problem, no smoke, no nothing. So they're
like, well, if there was a demon in him, he wouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah, he wouldn't even be able to read like fucking a sentence out of that bitch.
Right.
Yeah.
So like, what is up?
So that is like the whole basis of this movie, is like now they have to prove. Ed says like, just because you're not possessed right now, it doesn't mean like you weren't possessed in the moment, because, you know, he saw it happen, right? So at least there's one person that, you know, even the girlfriend
like,
too the whole entire time. Yeah, the girlfriend too the whole entire time is just like, I don't know what the fuck it was, but I know this was not Arnie that happened when, you know, he was killing her or killing the guy. So we go through a lot of this. We see that the jury wants to put him like on death trial. Like once the lawyer finally says like, you know, pleading not guilty based on demonic possession, she comes back out and tells the Warrens like, y'all better do something, because they're gonna fry this kid. Which is crazy. I mean, even that itself is still like crazy. Like, and what the stuff about these killings is that people go and they watch that shit. They've always gone and watched that shit from the beginning of the Salem fucking witch trials. You know what I'm saying? Like anytime there was like a fucking public killing, people gathered around to watch. They ate that shit up. They still do. It's so crazy. But so they end up finding like this witch's totem at the house where the boy was getting haunted and where Arnie got possessed. There was a totem, so we see like they were targeted by somebody, which is like something crazy, right? Like we haven't seen this in other movies before. We've only seen dead people doing stuff. This is an actual like living person
like targeting other living people. And they send out pictures. Lorraine takes a bunch of pictures of the totem that she finds, and then they send it out to police departments like in the surrounding area. So then they hear back finally from someone that there is like, we've seen this in another case. We had a really crazy stabbing.
Right. It was the exact same amount of times the dude
22 stabbings.
The dude got stabbed the same amount of times, the same as the other person that got stabbed.
And that they both had this weird like animal skull totem thing that's like obviously witchcraft.
Literally. And so they find out it's connected to this other father. His name was Father Kastner. Yeah. Father Kastner. He was someone else who like studied the occult. He was an occult expert. Ed was a demonologist expert, while Father Kastner was an occult expert, where I guess the two differences, you know, Ed specifically worked with like dark, malevolent forces, where the occult kind of just did anything that was not of this world.
Yes, right.
So he pissed me off, honestly. But because right in the beginning of the movie, they go, the Warrens go to him for some help, and he just sends them basically like on a wild goose chase. And cut to the end of the movie, it's his daughter that is the witch that is
possessing people,
possessing people,
summoning demons.
planting these totems and artifacts everywhere, trying to get people to kill them for the name of Satan. We see her name is Isla Kastner. He studied the occult and created a fascination within the child. The satanic cultist witch, which is Isla, she is the one who's behind all of these murderings. So now Father Kastner tells Lorraine to be careful of the obsessions that they pass down to their children, which is kind of relevant inside of this new movie that just came out. So keep a little pin in that note right there. But Lorraine too, she went there and she was like, "Dude, what the fuck? We fucking came. We asked you.
We asked you,
and you were
sat
like,
here and led us on this goose chase, and for what?
Literally for what?
So that your crazy daughter can
kill more people.
Yeah,
right.
Like, what does she even get out of it? I'm not even certain.
Me either. And I literally just watched the movie last night, and I cannot
seriously.
tell you like what besides the joy of promising some demon a spirit. So since she promised this demon a spirit, the one that was, trying to kill all these people, the Warrens were able to stop her at the end. But since she already made that promise to the spirit got her ass.
Yeah.
So it's like, who are you working for? Somebody who's just gonna kill you anyways?
Right.
Like, good for you, Miss Isla. Good for you, Miss Isla. I do like your name though. I love that name. So yeah, the movie ends with the witch taking, the demon taking the witch to hell with her, where she rightfully belongs. We see that Arnie is getting possessed in prison too, right before she dies. So this kind of, I feel like that scenario helped his case a little bit in the movie, because it cuts to the end of the movie where they have the little like, oh, based on a true story. So Arnie in real life was only sentenced to manslaughter, and he only served 5 years in prison for this.
Yeah.
And he got married to his wife, or I forgot her name, but he got married to his girlfriend like while he was in prison and stuff too. And it said they're still married today. I don't know if they were alive today. This was in 2021. But as of 2021, when they made this movie, they were still married today, still alive. So like, that's kind of like, too, if you take it into perspective, like the girlfriend, like, unless she's totally just down bad and whipped, like she literally watched her
get possessed by a demon
and murder somebody. So it's like firsthand. The thing that always stands out to me about these movies, the mom said it in The Conjuring 2 when she was getting press and stuff about her house being haunted, because they were too poor to leave their house, so they just had to stay there. So they thought, okay, well, let's get some press to get some money, which they got off of the real version of them saying like they moved into the Amityville house for a hoax for money and stuff. But whatever. So in that one, the mom, she says, like, there's 8 of us that live in this house. There's 8 of us where this shit's happening to. 8 of us are not crazy.
Right.
Like, there's no way 8 of us are not crazy. So, like, if you take it back to this situation, like, the girlfriend saw it.
Right.
Ed saw it. That's 2 people right there. And Ed is a respected demonologist. You wouldn't really take him as, like, the lying kind of guy. But I just found that was, this one was really cool because of that.
Yeah.
Just to talk about The Conjuring 4 a little bit, I'm not gonna give too many spoilers because it's just brand new. But I do think that there is some similar parallels within the universe, and one of the big things that like I wanted to discuss, not even discuss, just to touch on a little bit, in the very first movie when they're giving their seminars and stuff, it is a packed room. Everybody's super engaged, super attentive. Everyone has their hands up for question at the end. In this new movie, they are doing one of their seminars again, but it's in like current time. And there's like 10 people that showed up. They're like mocking them the whole time, asking them dumb questions, and then like at the end of the sermon, or at the end of the seminar, they like laugh at them and like leave and stuff. So I find that like
that's crazy.
That timeline, I noticed going back and watching it, I noticed why they put that inside of the movie, was because they were trying to show
Like the public's perception.
yeah, the public's they stopped caring about this shit.
Yeah.
Like that was so 1980s. Like that was so 1970s. Get out of here. We ghosts. Yeah, cool. Whatever. You guys are whatever. But that was one of the
Like, we
cool
have
things in there.
science now. Like
Right. And then another like a parallel that we see within a lot of the movies is mirrors. Right.
yes,
Mirrors have been known to create some portal in between worlds. Like, and that's why a lot of like the Hispanic people in my family, they don't like mirrors facing each other because it creates all those extra
Yeah.
reflections and stuff. And they say that that is an easy way for demons and stuff in paranormal realms to enter into our realm easier, because that opens up,
Yeah.
chops open the portal like that and makes it easier for them to like slip in and
Going
stuff.
out, Yeah.
Inside of the new movie, there is a scene where they have one of the characters. I'm not going to give too much information, so it's not spoilers. One of the characters is like encompassed. You probably saw it in the trailer anyway. One of the characters is encompassed in mirrors, like everywhere, and then a demon pops up. I love that. I always think of stuff about that. And another thing that I loved is like each movie had their different conduit, you know?
Yeah.
The first one, it was a music box. The second one, it was a carousel. The third one, it was actually a fucking person this time. It was Arnie. And then those totems.
Yeah.
And then in this new one, it is this giant mirror. It is this giant spooky mirror. Which, you know, harkens back to the mirrors. But yeah, so I really like that in the new movie. I think The Conjuring 4, I heard this is the last installment of the actual Conjuring universe. There's still probably room for more Annabelle spinoffs, more Nun spinoffs, but I believe this is the final story of the Warrens. They wrap it up like it's the final story of the Warrens. Do you have any ghost stories? Speaking of ghosts.
There was one time where my grandpa and I were both at the church on a like Saturday afternoon, evening. We were having like a bake sale to fundraise for something at church the next morning. So we were just like setting up our table the night before. And we both heard it sounded like someone walking down the hallway with like a limp. Like they were like dragging one foot. It was like an uneven gait.
Oh no.
We both heard it. We walked down the hallway to like investigate the noise. And there was nothing there, but we were the only ones there. The doors were locked. So we're both certain that there was something otherworldly happening, but we didn't care to, you know.
Right. I love the apologists who are like, nah, it was the wind. Nah.
No, it was 100% someone walking with like a fucking limp.
Right.
Like echoing through the church hallways.
No,
there was dead ass no one else there.
I believe it. But you know what? We talked enough about The Conjuring. Let's get into my favorite part of the episode. This is a fun little game that I call Slash or Smash. So the rules are very simple. I will tell you an iconic horror character, and we will say whether we would slash or smash, and give a reason why. This week, I got a lineup that will leave your imaginations haunted. So I just thought of this, you guys. I'm going to put pictures of the people on Slash and Smash on my Instagram, just in case you don't know who these are. So you guys can go ahead and tune into there when the episode comes out, and you can play the game with us in the comments. Let us know whether you would slash or smash these characters. All right. Are you ready, girlfriend?
I am.
Perfect. We're going to get into this right now. I'm unlocking my iPad. We work together. I don't know if we said this, but I was putting in the password for the iPad at our work.
The amount of times I put in my password for the work iPad.
Right.
It's not right.
So first up, we have Tate Langdon. Do you know who that is?
Oh my God. Smash.
Right. It's a fucking hard smash. This is, for the listeners who might not know, this is Evan Peters' character in American Horror Story Season 1. This is the one where they had, like, the haunted house one, you know.
Classic.
He ended up being, like, the school shooter at his thingy, and he got murdered at the house next door by the cops right afterwards, and that's how he was able to like haunt the whole season. But yeah, this is one of those boys I would let ruin my credit, to be honest. Next up, we have the legendary Lorraine Warren, and we're gonna do Vera Farmiga again. Last episode, I did Vera Farmiga's interpretation of Norma Bates. I think it's obvious. I'm gonna say smash.
Yeah, Vera Farmiga as Lorraine Warren, smash. 100%.
Yeah, I said smash last time. Yeah, I mean, like, she's just so beautiful. And then even hearkening back to American Horror Story season 1, Tessa Farmiga, that's her daughter.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's the girl who plays Tate Langdon's love interest in that season is Vera Farmiga's, the actress is Vera Farmiga's daughter, which is really cool. Next, Valak the Nun.
Oh my god, no. Slash.
I'm gonna debate this one for a second. So, hear me out. I'm just kidding.
I'll hear you out. I'll hear you out.
I'm just
I'll
kidding.
listen and not judge.
It's definitely a slash. I can't. This is. I'm gonna just blame it on. We'll say it's not part of my religion. Yeah, our religions don't mix. I'm gonna have to say slash. Next up, this one's a 2-for-1. We have Barbara and Adam Maitland. They're the couple from Beetlejuice.
Love them.
Right? Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin in their prime.
In their primes, yeah. I would smash both of them.
At the same time.
Yeah, I was like, I would be the middle of that sandwich.
No, seriously.
You
know? I'm going to have to say smash on one condition. I want Beetlejuice to do commentary the whole entire time in the background. Oh, get it, baby. That's just my one condition.
True.
All right. Final character today. We have Danny Phantom.
Smash. That has always been a smash from day one.
Yeah, I think this was one of like my awakenings. I was like, hold on.
Yeah, like I'm feeling things.
Right. Why? Just why? And even like as a ghost and not as a ghost, like the black hair. Like we don't see a lot of I feel like main character boys with black hair. He was so alt and emo. He's so hot. Yay, awesome. That was Slash or Smash. Woohoo. That game is my favorite thing about the podcast. I really, really love it. I want to do like a Billy on the Street kind of thing.
Oh my god.
Along like actual Halloween and get like a little microphone and go around school and like asking people slash or smash. Cool. So we have almost dug a hole big enough to fit this topic into. But before we go, this is the part of the show where we answer chilling inquiries from our Crypt Keepers. Today's question is, to the hauntress Miss Crypt the Keeper. I'm effing over it, okay? I haven't been able to lure anyone into the waters like I used to when I was younger. For context, I am what the mortals call a mermaid, and I'm no longer in my prime. My gills aren't as strong as they used to be, and I have begun to sag in places I should not. Back in the day, all I had to do was look at a sailor and wink and whisper, and they'd be jumping overboard in seconds. I've had so much semen, Joan Rivers would have been jealous. Now my voice is getting hoarse from overexerting my siren, trying to find new vocal runs to see if that works. I was doing a cover of Baby I by Ariana Grande, and the last person I was able to lure into the waters was a musty, muggy pirate who was thrown overboard for stealing from a crewmate. I tore that ass up in seconds, and I'm scared that was my last hurrah. I don't want it to be, but if all I can pull is a barnacle-infested crustaceans of the oceans, is it worth it to keep going? Do I plan a final hurrah? Do I still a younger mermaid's voice? Or do I hang up the snorkel and go lay in the sun up until I dry? With the wettest regards, a siren with laryngitis.
That is so unfortunate.
Dang. Okay,
I think if you have the ability to like steal a younger mermaid's voice, a younger siren's voice,
do it.
Do it. Why not?
So don't take my voice. Don't take Maggie's voice. But I might know somebody. You do need a final hurrah, girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not gonna go out with, who was it, a pirate with barnacles?
Barnacles and crustaceans.
You need yourself a cute little Prince Eric. I think you're only left with one option. I think you gotta steal someone's voice.
Steal someone's voice.
Okay, so there's a couple different ways you can do that. Okay, so you can physically like rip out someone's voice box and like surgically attach it to yours. That one is my preferred method. More gore the better, obviously. Or I've saw someone do some like magic potion and like some some conch, and they like
Do some singing into the shell.
Right.
Steal her voice that way.
I think you could do something like that. If you do something like that, you know, I think strike a deal with somebody. I don't think you have to go as far as stealing someone's voice. If you know this is your final hurrah, find someone cool, you know, find one of the stoner mermaids. Be like, hey girl, I got this whole bag of like barnacle kelp for you to smoke. Like, can I just borrow your voice for a night so I can go get some? I would say yes.
Yeah. If I was the mermaid, I would let you. If I knew that you were looking for your last hurrah and I could help a bitch out.
Right. Charity work.
I can go on vocal rest for one night.
Right. It would probably do us some good.
Yeah.
You know what? I have a day for you. Hit me up a couple of days before my show, and I got you. Okay. Don't hang up your snorkel though, girl. Never hang up your snorkel. You may have to like broaden your horizons and look for different fish in the sea, but don't hang up your snorkel. You got this. I think the older, the more experience. You know, use that to your benefit. Right. Show them what they're missing. You
can get more skills, too. Like, level up your skills.
Right. Teach them something.
Right.
I'd like to thank our guest, Maggie Hinton, today. All right. So, Malevolent Maggie, do you have anything to plug, like an Instagram or website?
My Instagram and my TikTok, which are not very active, I'll admit.
Mine's either. My new social for the podcast is, but my personal one, I'll post it.
I know. I'm trying to get better at it. But it's swaggymaggie.j, swaggymaggie.j. And I'm trying to post more like singing videos and content like that. I've got some like
you should. We could go do
like, practice rooms, but
we could go do a duet in like a cathedral and use like the vocals and the
oh my god,
the echoing. That. Yeah, I'm not a very good singer. I can do like I have like a solid like 4 notes I could hit. Def a tenor, low alto. Yeah. But that would be fun. That'd be fun.
You got the low range. I got the soprano notes.
Right. I could do the melody. You do the harmonizing, because I cannot harmonize for the life of me. I sound like a cat. So I would also like to thank our sponsors and UIC Radio for publishing the podcast. But most importantly, I'd like to thank you, the Crypt Keepers. Thank you for digging this grave with me and our guest, Maggie. But unfortunately, the graveyard is closed. So until next time, we'll leave this episode in the crypt. Farewell and bad dreams. Ooh. All right, ghouls. Make sure to follow the podcast on Instagram at She's in the Crypt for updates about shows and upcoming guests. Follow UIC Radio at UIC Radio, also on Instagram. And be sure to subscribe to the UIC Radio YouTube channel so you won't miss a single episode every Monday at 10 a.m. And you can check out all the other shows on the network as well. The podcast was created, written, and edited by Niomi Dylan Sass. Hey, and published by UIC Radio. Music by Arthur Benson, The Friendly Ghost, and sound effects from epidemicsounds.com. If you can't get enough of She's in the Crypt, you can keep up and check out my bi-weekly blog, Crypt Collections, every other Saturday morning at 10 a.m. on the website uicradio.com, and find me in the blog section.